Well. Look what we have here, guys. The Transformers Netflix TV show trailer has just dropped. And I was just talking about this the other day. So, what a coincidence. Maybe Hasbro does watch my videos, or maybe I'm thinking too highly of myself. Anyways, doesn't matter. So, much like I did for the last night, the Bumblebee movie, I'm gonna do a trailer breakdown and talk about some of the things you might have missed with the trailer. We're gonna go shot by shot. I'm gonna break it down, tell you what's going on, what's happening, the setting, the characters, and if I miss anything, I'll do a part 2 covering whatever I missed. So, yeah. In case you guys are unsure, the first thing I should mention is that this series is gonna come out this year in June. I'm not entirely sure if we're gonna get it like episode by episode, but considering that this is Netflix we're talking about, it's most likely gonna be, all of the episodes are gonna be released at the same time so you can binge watch them. So, just keep that in mind. Now, the first sentence, Cybertron is in ruins. Now, because of all the things that I mentioned throughout the trailer and, Ultra Magnus basically saying that the Autobots should focus on surviving instead of winning the war, then it stands to reason that the time place for, this continuity, this franchise, the Netflix TV show, is during the Fall of Cybertron. I don't mean it like exactly in the game where, the Autobots send thousands of ships, outside of Cybertron, then the Decepticons and Decepticons to destroy most of the Autobot population. Like, I'm not saying that, I'm saying that the era, the concept of, the Great Exodus is taking place or is about to take place. So, the Netflix TV show, it seems that it's gonna cover the final days of the war, or at least somewhere around that, because by this point, the Autobots are pretty much done for and they are just focusing on surviving. Now, something interesting that I really want to mention quickly is that the jets that we see here and most of the characters that all the characters that we see in this trailer are inspired by the Siege storyline, or they're based around those characters. Which in turn, the Siege storyline is also based on the characters that we saw in the Bumblebee movie. This is part of Hasbro's new program, or like new game plan, trying to make the whole franchise be more, unified, for a lack of a better term, because Optimus Prime has always looked different throughout the years, throughout different continuities. In the Bay movies he looks completely different than what he does in G1, and especially in Age of Extinction. Something that Hasbro is doing right now is that they want their characters to look a certain way. They can have a few minor differences here and there, but for the most part they want them to look one specific way. So from here on now until, the future or whatever, or whenever Hasbro decides to change their minds, we're gonna see Autobots and Decepticons be more reminiscent to their G1 counterparts. And this is like the beginning of Hasbro's initiative, so yeah, that's why there's a lot of similarities here with the B movie, especially the intro. Here we see a Seeker land down. Now that was actually Skywarp, and to the right corner we can see both Bumblebee and Wheeljack who are going into hiding. The Decepticons here are clearly on the offensive, so we can assume that this city is probably the Autobot capital of Iacon. So yeah, going back to what I said earlier, Ultra Magnus mentions that they should focus on surviving as a race, so more evidence pointing to this being set in the Fall of Cybertron era. But keep in mind what Ultra Magnus said here, because it's gonna be relevant later in the trailer. So here we see Megatron and his Decepticon generals addressing the public. Now something that's really interesting is that you can see Jetifre in there. So Jetifre is actually aligned with the Decepticons, but like we all know, he's probably gonna switch sides and join the Autobots like in most continuities. Now we see this ruined city, and it's where Megatron is like with his generals like commanding. It's like basically it's a command center, and we see this figure walking towards it. We see a bit of blue and he has those white shoulder pads, and I think this guy is actually Ultra Magnus, and he has like that hood thing going on, which it kind of reminds me of Dark of the Moon Megatron, which it seems to be a bit of a reference to that. Here we see some other generic Seekers who are looking at this figure getting close. It's really hard to tell who it is, but because of the white shoulders we know that it's Ultra Magnus. And it's not a Decepticon, it's an Autobot, because these guys are clearly not expecting him to appear. Because later we see him walking towards Megatron's council, and we see that Shockwave, Soundwave, and Jetifre have their guns pointed at him. Oh, even Barricade's there. Oh my god, he's so short. Now, I don't know what this means. This could probably be a plot point, or Ultra Magnus betraying Optimus Prime, or even him going there to bargain for the Autobots, safety, like saying, Megatron, listen, you won, let us go, we're gonna, leave the planet and you can have it. But what's happened here, I think, is also a very subtle reference to Dark of the Moon. In case you guys don't know, back in the pre-production phase of Dark of the Moon, Sentinel Prime was originally supposed to be Ultra Magnus. He went with the name Ultra Magnus for the concept arts. If Michael Bay had kept the name Ultra Magnus, he would have been the one to betray Optimus instead of Sentinel Prime in the movies. So Ultra Magnus being here is actually a really subtle reference to him almost being the main bad guy or an Autobot traitor in Dark of the Moon, until he was dropped and he was later changed to be Sentinel Prime. And here we see Megatron's adoring Decepticon fanbase. Now, something really interesting here is that they're keeping up a lot with the G1 continuity, because back in the days of G1, Autobots were like, ground vehicles and Decepticons were flyers. Like, most Decepticons could fly, and almost everyone here on the crowd seems to be a seeker or a flyer. So they're keeping in with the G1 continuity. And it's a pretty cool subtle reference to that plot point. Now here we see what it looks to be Starscream fighting Jetifre. Now I know this is Jetifre because if you look at him closely, he has the Jetifre body shape, and the other Seekers seem to be surprised. It seems that he's defending Bumblebee and Wheeljack, so we already had confirmed that he's gonna join the Autobots, if you guys were still in doubt about that. Now here we have Sideswipe and Hound. These two are confirmed for the series, and again, they're very reminiscent to their Siege on Cybertron toyline designs, which, they look a bit too toyish for my liking. They don't really look like, robots. They look a bit more like toys, unlike, what they did in Transformers Prime. But hey, it's a bit too early to judge, I think at least the way they move and everything feels pretty natural and organic, so it's not that bad. Now this is a very subtle blink and you'll miss it moment, but we have Barricade sucker punching Chromia. And I'm super happy that Barricade's making an appearance in this show, because Barricade's one of my favorite Decepticons, and he has a very G1 look about him, which I kind of prefer his movie look, to be honest, but it's not bad, looks pretty good. Now here we have Impactor. Now Impactor is the leader of the Wreckers in most continuities, but in here he's actually a Decepticon, so we might get a Jetifre scenario where he turns against the Decepticons and joins the Autobots, but it's kind of weird. We'll have to wait and see though. But here we see him getting crushed by a giant building along with the refractors. So RIP, I guess. We got the classic G1 sound. They did this for the Bumblebee movie as well. It's a pretty cool Easter egg, I'm never gonna complain about that. It's like iconic. So here we have Thundercracker, Acid Storm, Skywarp, and since all of these Seekers, well, most of them appear in the Siege of Cybertron toyline, I'm guessing we could also see the Rainmakers or maybe other, Seekers, since the Seekers all share the same body type. They're probably gonna be the canon fodder of the series, might be. But here we see them that they're apparently interrogating Bumblebee and Wheeljack. In this shot, we got Elita-1. Although she's looking a bit more like Ariel, she doesn't have like the Elita-1, head sculpt. She looks, more of her Ariel counterpart before she got reformatted by Alpha Trion in G1. And yes, I know it looks like she has wings, but she's not a flyer, guys. Later in the trailer we see that she has wheels, so she's actually a ground vehicle. Megatron is a tank, and I'm super happy about that because I don't like gun Megatron. I'm sorry G1 purists, but that's not me. I don't like it. Now in here we have Optimus Prime, and he's looking really G1-ish. Like, you could almost mistake that for an Earth vehicle and not really a Cybertronian vehicle. Personal opinion, it kind of upsets me that they didn't went the War for Cybertron route and make the vehicles a bit more alien. They look too human, human man-made for my taste. But yeah, he transforms, he has this iconic look, he hasn't changed much. And something really interesting is that Peter Cullen, the legendary voice of Optimus Prime, is not voicing him. From what I heard, I think this is the guy from Cyberverse, the guy who's currently voicing him. Now, while I still haven't watched Cyberverse, I only watched the first 7 episodes. The guy didn't really do a good job back there. He's trying, I'll give him that, but he still has a long way to go. From what I've seen in this trailer, he's doing an alright job. I think he's getting better, but It's gonna take some time. And for those asking why is Peter Cullen not here, well, Peter Cullen is an elderly gentleman, okay? He can't just be coming to voice Optimus Prime whenever Hasbro drops a new show every single year. I think they're gonna save him for the movies and, you know, special events, but for the most part they're trying to look for replacements or people who can fill the void, you know. Here we have Jetifre, Megatron, and Starscream running towards what appears to be a group of Autobots in the distance. I see Bumblebee's yellow, I see some other guy I don't know, and what it appears to be Ratchet. But then again, it's a long distance shot, so it's extremely hard to tell. So here we see Optimus Prime shooting at the refractors, and I know it's the refractors because of the shape of the gun they're using. I'm guessing this happens shortly before or after, you know, they get the building drop on them. It's really hard to tell. Oh no, poor guy. I forgot his name. I think this is Topspin. I'm pretty sure it's Topspin. If not, I'm just gonna have the name on the screen. But I don't think he's dead. I'm just gonna say I think that they're doing this for dramatic effect. But what I want to talk about here is Bumblebee. He actually has his voice, and I'm actually kinda shocked about that. They didn't go the whole mute Bumblebee route. They might do that because, you know, Cyberverse did that. They have mute Bumblebee and unmute Bumblebee at the same time. We might end up having mute Bumblebee in this series, but if we don't, that'll be a nice change of pace, I'm not gonna lie. Because I am getting a bit sick of mute Bumblebee. We see Sideswipe using the other Autobot as a weapon. Like, he has the other Autobot, I forgot his name, you know, can transform into like a gun or something for others to use. But it's a nice bit of teamwork, and it's really good to see Cybertron in variety, not just people transforming into tanks and, you know, jets and stuff like that. They transform into guns for us to use, or like small battle suits. Pretty cool stuff. Now here is another blink and you'll miss it moment, but we see what appears to be a space bridge. And so far this looks very similar to the setup in Transformers Cyberverse, because Optimus Prime mentions that they're trying to protect the Allspark from Megatron. So my guess is that they're gonna use the space bridge to send the Allspark away from Cybertron. And since Wheeljack is here, I'm gonna guess that he's probably the one who like built the space bridge, and he's said to, like, you know, send the Allspark somewhere else, which I think it's a likely possibility. Now here we have another shot at Elita-1, and she says this is not the life I imagined for us. So meaning that in this continuity, Optimus Prime and her were a thing. Well, I say were because once he became Optimus Prime, like, he kinda just went on becoming the full-on leader of the Autobots and just leading them 24/7, so it looks like in the past when he was Orion Pax and she was Ariel before they got reformatted by Alpha Trion, they were a couple, which, you know, I'm actually okay with it. I know a lot of people don't like them as a couple for whatever reason. I'm actually okay with it. Behind Elita-1, we get another Autobot. I forget his name. I haven't kept up with the Siege storyline, so I'm sorry if I'm, you know, not knowing a lot of these guys' name. I'm gonna have his, you know, name on the screen as soon as I, you know, figure out who he is. So, but yeah, apparently these guys are fighting the refractors. And then we end it all with Optimus Prime saying that the life they're living is worth fighting for. Meaning that while everyone around Optimus Prime is saying that, hey, we're losing, you're all gonna die, this is pointless, Optimus Prime is remaining optimistic and in trying to inspire his troops, telling them to never give up, which honestly, it's a very Optimus Prime thing to say. So far his characterization is done pretty well. A few interesting details here is that a lot of the characters are really battle damaged. Characters like Megatron, Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, even to some degree, they're all pretty battle damaged, meaning that this war has really been brutal on them. We do know that this is a trilogy, so, you know, part 1 is gonna be set on Cybertron, and part 2 is probably gonna be set on Earth, because since the characters in this series are, well, exactly similar to how they appear in the toy line, my guess is that after they're done with part 1, which is Siege, which is also inspired by the Transformers Siege toy line, my guess is that the second part for this series is going to be Earthrise. So after War for Cybertron, I don't know how it's gonna end, I don't know the events that are gonna happen, but I know for a fact that these characters are actually gonna make it to Earth and they're gonna wage their war there, because currently Hasbro's trying to promote their new, you know, Earthrise toy line with the Autobots arriving on Earth and fighting the Decepticons in there once again. So this is gonna be a trilogy. There's gonna be 3 series, kind of like, you know, they did for the Prime Wars trilogy. And while Prime Wars wasn't really good in my opinion, this series from art style perspective is looking pretty good. I do have a complaint with the characters looking a bit more like toys instead of, actual characters. I think it sort of works, I still need to see a bit more to judge, but so far it's looking pretty good. Massive improvement over Power of the Primes. The animation's not choppy or anything. It's very fluent, the characters move pretty well. The expressions seem to be, well, little expressions we saw in the trailer, they seem to be really well done. Well, this is no Transformers Prime or Transformers War for Cybertron in terms of looks and, aesthetic. I think it could work. I think it could work. They can make this work. A lot of people are saying that the lips on Megatron are kind of, weird, or the lips on Megatron are kind of weird, or the aesthetic of Cybertron's pretty meh. But I kind of like it. I think it fits with the setting because by this point Cybertron is pretty much almost destroyed, so it kind of fits. My only real complaint right now is how the characters look. Optimus Prime's voice actor, because I'm so used to Peter Cullen that seeing anyone else voice Optimus Prime kind of bothers me. But other than that, this looks pretty promising, so I gotta give it a thumbs up. So far I'm a bit more optimistic about the series right now, but the first trailer for The Last Night looked really good as well, and we all know how that ended up. So maybe this series will surprise us, or maybe it will end up being another Power of the Primes. But either way, it's a bit too early to tell. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. Shoutouts goes to our patrons: Moirice Prime, iPulse Fate, Mario Gordon, Predaking Hunter Plays, Mr. Baby Duke, and the absolute madman himself, Jordan the Great, who donated $100. Thanks for your support, guys. Make sure to go check out their channels, links in the description down below, and if you guys want to shout out yourself, all you have to do is donate to my Patreon. By donating to my Patreon, you get quite a few rewards. You can get a shout out to your channel, you can request your own videos, you can collab with me in some of my videos if you choose to, you get a special role on my Discord server, you can also get early access to my videos and stuff like that. There's plenty of rewards to choose from and it's entirely optional. It sounds like a pretty good deal, right? But keep in mind, this is entirely optional, since freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Thank you guys for donating, it's much appreciated. So yeah, thanks a lot guys. Anyways guys, before this video ends, I want to give a shout out to Refty Siege since he upgraded my Discord server. So, shout out to his channel for doing that. If you guys donate to my Patreon or even, boost my Discord server, I'll give you a shout out. So, thanks a lot, man. I'm sorry if this is a bit, long overdue. I've been a little busy, but yeah, man, here's your shout out. Make sure to go check him out, go and support him, all that good stuff. And thank you again for boosting the Discord server. It's much appreciated. Anyways guys, that's it for this video. Sorry if I didn't, put much editing into it, or if, I couldn't get the video to play in the screen because, I don't want to get copyrighted, so images will have to do. Hopefully that doesn't bother you, and hopefully you enjoyed. I'm a bit more optimistic about the series now, but it's still a bit too early to tell that it will be pure quality. It looks good so far, but then again, looking good and being good are two separate things. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, guys.